Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Us Being You. This is episode number 12. This is a little bit weird, a little bit different on this one. I am going to be running solo. FA is currently not here. He's out of the country. He's visiting Lebanon, actually, in the Middle East, having a blast. So I've made a commitment to put this podcast out. And so here I am. Definitely wasn't easy building the confidence to just do it alone. I'm gonna try to aim for some shorter times as well, just because this is the first time that I'm doing this. If it ends up going well, we'll keep going. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we could just start out by talking a little about my struggle of building the confidence to get to this point. Even sitting here and looking at a camera, it's weird right now. It's a strange thing. I don't know where to look actually. I'm not sure if I'm looking in the right place if someone is watching this on YouTube, but for the most part, for everyone listening, yeah, it is my first time doing this solo. So I want to talk about the struggles, I guess, a little about getting into that right state of mind to just do something. A lot of people have this thing where they're like, oh, you got to wake up in the morning and be like, oh, this is the thing I want to do. And if I'm not doing that, then what's the point of living my life, or what's the point of not have, or excuse me, you should have a passion towards that. For the most part, I would say across the world, a lot of people are just concerned about getting the money. No one's really too worried about doing things that they want to do. Or as a matter of fact, now a lot of people have that privilege to do with that whatever they want to do. Certain countries like America definitely give us that access, give us that ability to have more freedom. I say obviously, like if you're going to look at America as the land of the free, it's not necessarily the land of the free, but rather the fact that it gives us so many opportunities. You could go into any direction into your life and potentially make money or find success. Like we've said before, me sitting here and just recording this, if this all goes well, gets enough views and all that good stuff, I can make a living out of it. It's not just about uh and to think, my point here is that no one would imagine that this is the world that we live in, that this right now would be the world that we are currently living in. It's a strange thing. Excuse my English. It is a little bit weird, so I'm adjusting. But anyway, yeah, I do want to mention that I'm sitting here and I literally forced myself to sit here right now and do this. In a way, I was foreshadowing me forcing myself, because on episode number 11, I did mention that I'm gonna get an episode out regardless of how good it is or how bad it is. The fact is that, I'm pushing forward and I'm moving forward. It's that little drive, that little extra, you know, oomph, I guess, and where you got to tell yourself, okay, like just go now, get up, go do it, like I am doing now. I'm not going to say this is probably going to be the best podcast I put out, but it's definitely a thing that I'm trying for the first time. I'm experiencing for the first time, which is a beautiful thing. I think we have to, in order to better understand ourselves, we have to keep trying new things, figuring out what is best for us. I have this little crazy thing that I believe that let's just use snowboarding for example. How do you know if you're not just naturally gifted at snowboarding if you've never gone in the first place? The idea is obviously like, right, so a lot of people are sitting here like, oh yeah, what's your chance though? I'm gonna be a good snowboarder, and that's true. What is the chance? But the idea is you don't know if you are that small percentage that has this natural talent, that has this natural ability to be great at something. And again, snowboarding is just an example. It could be a bunch of other things. But the point of what I'm trying to say is you're not gonna know if you don't try. The same way I'm sitting here doing this podcast. I don't know how this is gonna end up. I don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm having a good time doing it. I'm trying my best to have a good time doing it. Going back to that point of like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't wake up every morning saying, "Hey, I want to record a podcast. I want to do this. I want to do that." But that's the point, no? Like nothing's supposed to be easy. If it was easy, again, like obviously the most cliche quote is that everyone would do it. The point is it's not supposed to be easy for me to grow some balls, I guess, and get up and record this podcast as I did. And I know again what a fucking a lot of people get toxic masculinity bullshit, but but anyway, no, that's not what I mean. It's just a metaphor, just a phrase. But yeah, or gain the confidence, we should say. to get up and do this and sit here and record and understand that I'm not going to know where to look the first time. I'm not going to probably say the right things the first time, but the fact that I'm willing to try it and attempt, I think that's super important. It's like going to the gym. A lot of times, nobody wants to go. The hardest part in my mind is getting to the gym. Doing the workout, obviously, again, it doesn't mean, oh, okay, as soon as I get to the gym, I lift my weights, everything's going to be easy. No, but the hardest part is that first mental barrier that you have to break through, getting to the thing and doing it and understanding that you will get better with time. The same way right now, like I said, messing up now, maybe not doing the best job. As I progress, I'll get better and better and better. Building that confidence, building that drive. One thing I heard I've on this like little Instagram reel was like you only build confidence by proving that you're able to accomplish things slowly. And as you accomplish things, you build confidence in yourself, saying like, okay, well, I've done this, I can do this. That means I should push myself just a little bit further, see if I can do that. Once you accomplish that, and just keep going further and further every single time. That's a super important thing. Again, we do live in, I personally live in a country in the United States of America where I have this privilege to go and push myself and decide to do the craziest things or the dumbest things that some people in another country might be like, well, that's not going to work for me. But still, I do think that no matter what you're doing, whether you're studying, working at a minimum wage job, working for a corporation, whatever the case may be, as long as you're giving your 100%, success will follow. A lot of people go to work and they sit there and they're like, oh, I'm just here to collect my hours, do my work, and get the fuck out. And then you also have that other worker who literally works at places and they treat it like as if it's their own. Now, yeah, obviously, if you're trying to get the best bang for your buck, just go fuck around a little bit and collect your check. But that doesn't build a consistent and solid mindset for you to be a better person, to understand that, hey, if I'm gonna grow, I have to be able to grow at the base level from the start. I always say you can't be consistent with larger habits if you can't even do it with the smaller ones. So like these smaller, for instance, I'll give a small example. Like when you turn off the lights after you leave the room, sure, what's a couple of cents going to cost you worth of electricity? Not that much. But it's this thing that you're building in your mind saying, hey, well, there's a system I have to follow and I have to abide by the system regardless of the rules. Because you do know at the end, these are the things that are best for you. And as we know, the things that improve us the most are the things that are the hardest. Or the things that are best for you are the things that tend to be the hardest. So we have to accept these challenges and face them slowly. And yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I have a little list here just in case I run out of things to say. Uh, but yeah, I wanna touch up on another thing, which is like I feel we live in a time now where time is we live in a time now where time is truly wasted. We're not efficient with our time. We're very lazy. A lot of that comes back to social media and TikTok and the format of TikTok, how we have such short attention spans and we need our attention span can barely last a couple of seconds before we have to scroll to the next thing and keep moving. And I think that in itself has created this idea that everything's going to come quickly. Things come at a fast pace, but that's not the reality of life in the end. Patience is what allows you to be successful. These long-term battles are what allow you to find the most success. And we can't even do certain things at such a base level. Imagine on a consistent in a consistent format. I try to kind of avoid this thing is like if I am gonna do something, if I am gonna mess around, like for example, I can't lie, I play video games here and there in my free time. I play a little bit of FIFA. If anyone has a FIFA addiction, you completely understand. But yeah, what I try to do is while I'm playing is I'll be having this podcast running through my ears, and that's where I come up with clips. So that way I don't have to like just randomly skim through an hour podcast or a 30-minute podcast like this one, and and just take forever. But rather I can have a good time while managing to find clips throughout while I'm listening. So you don't really need headphones to play FIFA. So I just toss my headphones to the side and I'll just be listening to the podcast, cutting, saving, writing, adding little notes. That way I'm not wasting time. I'm being efficient with my time. Similar format that maybe a lot of people have heard is like, when there's commercials on TV. Whoever watches TV, I doubt anyone fucking watches TV anymore. But I guess you could say if you're watching a basketball game, let's just say, so you got to deal with commercials at that point. Do push-ups in between the breaks. Do something. Read a book. I know it sounds crazy, but if you can pick up on just one little thing at a time, small habits carry on through time. Just even learn one word a day. One word a day. It allows you to expand your mind and look at things from a completely different perspective. Being in a country like the United States, I feel we're not as exposed to so many. Sure, without a doubt, you have multiple cultures here. Everything, anything you can imagine. You have Asian people, Middle Eastern people, Armenians, Mexicans, whites, blacks. Like every anything you can imagine is present in here. But in a way, it's the a lot of people are detached from their roots, and this is the problem. I think a lot of people don't look back and understand, like, oh, where did I come from? Like, as a Middle Eastern person, I try to do that a lot. I travel to the Middle East like FA has right now, and when you go to these places, you have a different perspective of life. You start to look at things differently. You start to understand things differently. A lot of these places don't have electricity on a daily basis. You appreciate these little things. Funny thing is, like, my fiance, my battery always tends to be low whenever we're talking, because I have that convenience to just plug in my charger whenever I feel like it, but she does not. So her battery is always at 100% or whatever, 80 to 90%. And she always tells me how like, oh, like, yeah, my battery's always high and yours is always low. It's like I take that for granted, because it's like I always think, well, whenever the fuck I feel like it, I can just pop in the charger and keep going about my day. Little things like that, I think we take for granted. We do definitely think that the world that we see is just this world that we see on social media, that everything we see online is like, oh, that's just what the world consists of. But we have to understand that, honestly, a lot of things that we see on social media is very, like, condensed and compact compared to, like, relative to the whole world. Most people across the world are not even concerned about you know, eh, I'm not going to say we don't experience the similar things that other countries do. Without a doubt, I'm sure there's racism in America. There's definitely racism in different countries that we've heard a lot about, like in South Korea, where they sometimes, if you're a foreigner, they don't let you into certain bars or certain clubs. But yeah, besides the point, we need to take the time to, understand these different cultures, understand how people are different. The world isn't just revolved around the United States and how we function. Definitely, a majority of media comes from here, I would say, without a doubt. But it does not mean that this is the only thing that exists. Some people don't even have I'm saying basic necessities like hot water, electricity, things like that we have and we take for granted, without a doubt. But yeah, like, that's why I think traveling is very intriguing to people too. I've been stuck on this feed with my YouTube reels of just people traveling across the world, traveling to Turkey, to Indonesia, to India, South Africa, all over these places, Colombia, Cuba. I think it's amazing how you see how different people interact. And without a doubt, you see similarities with the countries, and how they deal with food, and how they show the way they show their respect. And I think that's such an important thing too. It's beautiful if someone is able to travel and go across the world and see these different places, because it exposes them to different mindsets, different people, different cultures, and it allows you to kind of get a better grasp of why, I guess, the world is the way that it is. We're all different in our own ways. We're all special in our own little ways, and but that difference is what allows us to be who we are. You know. I think that's a great way to put it. Uh, so yeah, there's that, you know. But yeah, and if I am gonna advise anyone on any little thing, try to pick up on knowledge. We live in such a time where gaining access to new information is so easy. You have things like Chat GPT, insane. You could literally tell Chat GPT to code for you. It sits there. You can ask it to be like, hey, like code me a website that sells, I don't know, baby products or flowers or whatever the case may be, and it'll literally do it for you. To be honest, I haven't tested it completely, but it definitely wrote a code for me. And I don't think it's just there for nothing, and it's not successful for nothing. If there was some AI company to invest in, like a public stock, a company that's publicly traded in the stock market, I definitely would take a look into that. Uh, but this is not financial advice. But anyway, yeah, like this is the world that we're living in. When we're just even as my friends were describing the Chat GPT to me, they describe it as if they're speaking to a human. To think that I never thought in a million years that something would come along and in a way be a potential competitor to something like Google. It's crazy to think that Google, the largest search engine in the world, and now you could go into ChatGPT. I'm gonna be saying that thing too much. If I mess it up, just you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, if you go into ChatGPT and you can go back and forth with it, try to understand it. I had someone submit a code that he needed to make a change to, requested ChatGPT to make this change for him. It did the code change, corrected everything, and it worked perfectly. So I guess that would be the one test that I have, but nothing that I've personally tested myself. I think this is the thing. Like this is where I say like I fear what the future holds. Nobody knows. It's just a crazy thing to think that this this is similar to, did you think that the people who sold newspapers would think that something called the internet would come around? Of course not. So I'm very interested. I'm very excited for what the future holds. It is scary at the same time. Elon Musk is afraid of AI. I know we talked about this on the last episode as well. But what I'm trying to say is like that's another way to learn something. You could sit there, pick up on something little from it, ask it questions, pick at your brain in a way. That's really what it is. You're picking at what you're trying to understand, and in a way, ChatGPT is a guide for that. Um, that's another method. Google, obviously, this is the most obvious thing in the world. Where back in the day, if you wanted to learn something, you had to go to a fucking library, pull out a book, look through chapters, and find it, and hope you did. And now, within a matter of seconds, you're able to have access to a whole new language if you like. You could literally learn a new language and through YouTube. Trading in the stock market, I learned all of that through YouTube, and I made money off of it through just watching videos on YouTube, free videos off YouTube. And these are all different ways for you to educate your mind. We already spend hours on our phones. Why not? I know I've been seeing these crazy things where certain people are discussing how TikTok is like another way for, it's like a school. Some people argue. I don't think it's obviously anything that could replace school without a doubt. I think that's insane. It does teach you a lot of great things. It does show you a lot of amazing things. You're able to, again, like another form of YouTube. Back in the day, you used to just, if you didn't know how to fix something, for example, you want to change a pipe, go search it up on YouTube. Now you have TikTok, and TikTok is just as effective, just as efficient. And so, yeah, I could see it definitely being something where it's like a bonus to your life. But nothing that I think will be like a daily basis, regular type of thing that could replace, for example, basic communication or hiring people to come over and do things. Like these are all labors that are going to have to still exist. We're still going to need homes. We're still going to need, uh, you know, I mean, a lot of things, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Roads that we need, that need paving, all that good stuff. But yeah, I find it kind of crazy how we've had such a drastic change in life. So it's like, why not sit there, take the time to learn something, to educate yourself, to grow, to be a better person. You growing in life doesn't just have to be, oh, physical, okay, like, or like it's a mental, emotional, physical like journey that's all put into one. You want to try to be in the best shape of your life. I try to be. I'm not going to say I have like six pack abs or anything, but health is super important. A lot of people don't take accountability for little things like that. And I think the mind in itself is a muscle that you need to exercise. You need to allow it to do its thing, to allow it to figure out things, learn new things. That's the point. That's the point of life. And I think it's wasted sitting around and just fucking around all the time and doing nothing with it. Now, that's why me personally, I've even stopped listening to music quite a lot. One of the reasons why we started doing this podcast is because I got into podcasts. I started listening to them. The way I saw it was that I'd rather sit there and learn something new than just jam out to some music. I'm not saying music is nice. It is a beautiful thing, but and it has its moments without a doubt. But you know, if for me personally, if I was able to pick up on a new thing, and sometimes obviously you listen to podcasts and they're just it's just useless information, but why not? If you can even pick up one word, like I said, one word, learn a new word a day, something to allow you to be better, something allow you to be more consistent. Why not? You're building this foundation in a way to this larger structure that you're going to build through time. And the foundation is the key part. Without a strong foundation, nothing will allow you can't grow. No matter how perfect of a building you're going to build, if the foundation is not strong enough, everything will collapse. It'll all fail. And I kind of look at my early years of life as that. Me sitting here, trying to understand myself, trying to do what I have to do, educate myself by going to school. And this is the thing about school. We live in a time now, like I said, you have the internet. So going to school almost to a lot of people seems pointless. I'm not going to say that it's pointless, but I will say that you shouldn't waste your time going to school if you don't feel mentally prepared to go. This is you have to this is a thing where you have to commit. You have to say, you know what, this is what I want to do. For example, if you want to be a doctor, it's a long journey, a journey that doesn't involve you making a lot of money initially. That makes you, as a matter of fact, taking $500,000 almost in debt in America. I don't know how it is for other countries. Of course, it ranges without a doubt, but you're talking at least, I would say, $250,000 of debt. Yeah, if you have no one paying for you. And yeah, you know, it's a long journey, but that's the point, though. Anything that has a larger reward tends to require a lot more work, a lot more drive, a lot more push. And school for me, I don't know. I kind of see it as like a place where I just got to go get my shit done, come back, and just move on with my life. Some people see it as a way for them to go and experience a new world, experience new people. They probably were trapped living in like maybe a smaller town, a smaller city, and they didn't get too exposed to the social life of things. And they use college as that opportunity, college or university. Now, for me personally, again, I just see it as a path that I have to take and to reach a certain goal. School without a doubt is not pleasant. It is not pleasant. Nobody likes to go to school and but nobody likes to go to work. Nobody, you think I like sitting here and recording this podcast for 30 minutes? It's great. I'm not, again, now that does not mean that you shouldn't strive to find what makes you happy. Strive to find the thing that makes you want to wake up in the morning. If you're able to, that's great. I won't lie. I do get an enjoyment from making this podcast. I'm not gonna say like when I sit here and I'm talking about how even yes, I know sometimes we sound all over the place. I know sometimes that our thoughts aren't fully composed and fully put together, but that comes with time. And I'm not gonna learn how to be better if I don't do little things like this. And I think life is the same way. If you're not gonna take that step forward, you're not gonna take that leap forward, then what's the point? And sometimes it involves trying things that you may not like. At the end of the day, honestly, I would argue that even if you do find something that you're passionate about, like you're still gonna wake up like fuck, I gotta get up and do this. You know, like even some people that play soccer, you think they get up or excuse me, football to the European people, if anyone's listening from Europe, but yeah, like you think they care? You think that they want to wake up every morning and train all night and do their drills and all? Fuck no, fuck no. But they do enjoy the craft. Like I do enjoy doing making podcasts and making videos and potentially being able to affect someone's life by a simple sentence. Like I said, everything's not put together. Everything sometimes may sound all over the place. But at the end of the day, if you're able to grab one word out of this 30-minute to an hour podcast, that's amazing to me. The fact that you're able to make a difference into someone's life, the fact that you're able to make even the slightest adjustment. And like I said, life to me is also like love, you know? You have this thing that you got to figure out. And it's a beautiful thing. Like I've used before in this podcast, but in case you haven't heard it, I look at love, or again, life in this situation, as this giant block of marble. And you're literally chipping away at it slowly. Sometimes when you hit it, you don't hit it hard enough. You got to hit it again. And as long as you take your time and you push towards that goal, that and the end result of building this beautiful sculpture, there's no way you fail. There's no way you fail, no matter what you're doing. Like I said, if you're not, it doesn't matter if you're going to school, it doesn't matter if you're working, whatever the case may be, as long as you maintain consistency, as long as you keep striving to be successful, Even if you're just working a minimum wage job, it builds that mindset for you. It builds that mentality of growth. As long as you stay in this mentality of, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna come here, get my check, and leave. Yeah, then that's how you're gonna be for your whole life. You're not gonna be able to think larger, to think bigger. These people that are making millions of dollars, you can't. Sure, let's be honest. Some of them are lucky, without a doubt. There are some lucky individuals out there, but it does not mean that that well, excuse me, sorry, a majority of them did it or they reached their level of success all through hard work. All through hard work. At least 90%. 10% is like, I'm really doing the lucky people a favor. It's not even close to that much, I bet. But anyone who's finding success needs to understand that it's a long process. It's a long, patient process. The same way, like I've almost given up on this podcast a couple of times because I understand that this is going to take time. We started, I think, getting like 2, 3, 4 views. Now, probably like now it's like 10, 11, 12, which isn't crazy, but hey, it's more people. It's more people. And who knows? Who knows where life's going to take you? But if you're not going to take that initial step, you're never going to know then. You're just going to sit there and live your whole life in this thought that, oh, what could have been? What could have happened? Had I done this? Where would I have went? And so I think that's a really important thing to understand. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I know this episode I'm jumping around a lot, but this is the first time I'm doing this. I am a little more comfortable now. I'll be definitely more prepared for the next one if when I do have to do this again. But yeah, I do want to end this on a little note. Yes, I know this is a lot quicker, but maybe it's better. Who knows? You don't have to hear our voices as much. We just, just hey, check in on your people, man. Sometimes a hello makes a big difference in someone's day. Certain things that mean nothing to you might have a lot more meaning to someone else. Understand that. Be okay with that. In other words, as FA as usually tells me, love the difference in others, which is a beautiful thing. And yeah, I'm gonna end this episode now, I guess. This is Us Being You, episode number 12. I'm glad I got the confidence to get on this mic, and I do appreciate if you tuned in until the end because this was a roller coaster of a headache, and I'm sure I was all over the place. But we appreciate the support. I hope you all tune in and just I guess I wish wish myself luck on the next one. All right, everyone. You have a great day. This is Us Being You, episode number 12.